So we're happy that everyone is here. So I'm Kenneth. I live in Brooklyn, and on behalf of the local spiritual assembly, I want to welcome everyone to this Zoom call. If folks, does anybody know why we're here? Anybody know why we're here? Somebody speak up. Why are we here?
Election study.
What's that?
OC election study.
Okay, what does that mean?
From my perspective.
And who is actually responding? Who's responding?
That's me. It's me, Carrie.
Oh, Carrie. Okay. All right. So, what does this mean to you?
It's just to help us really guide any conversations that we will inevitably have with people who are most passionate about this election. At least that's my perspective.
All right, very nice, very nice. Anybody else would like to offer an answer? Why are we here?
I think it's an opportunity.
And who's speaking? You got to name yourself. Hey, Sean.
I think it's an opportunity for us to re-examine the clear guidance that we have, both from the central figures and our House of Justice, about how we're part of the integration process as we see the disintegration, and gives us enormous amount of hope and proper vision so that we can navigate ourselves through these times with strength and hope. I think that's what it's all about.
Good. Thank you, Sean. Can you all just see in the chat? I just basically put what we have thought of what the purpose is. Would someone read that purpose, please? Somebody like to volunteer?
I'll read it. Purpose, aim of the space. This is Danish, by the way. To process the events of the elections using the writings to provide a space and language for community to use when discussing the elections. To create a space for the community to process their emotions.
So thank you, Danish. So that essentially is the groundwork, but we don't want it to feel like it's that exact. I mean, we hope that folks will walk out of the space tonight touching on each of those, but really we want to just engage and have a chance to come together and not only think about these conversations that we're going to have with other folks, but what about the conversations we're having within ourselves? You know, how do we feel about what's going on, and how do we feel, we can move forward? So as you can see on your screen, guys, here's tonight. I don't want to use the word agenda. It is an agenda, but I hate to use that word because every time we come together, it's a spiritual gathering. It just so happens that there happens to be some structure to this gathering. So we have our welcome. We'll briefly have devotions, and then we will consult in some breakout groups, then have some closing remarks and a prayer, and you can stay afterwards to socialize. And so I hope you guys have your virtual coffee and cake ready for the socialized portion. Anybody have any questions? Any questions? Any comments?
Yeah, timing. You forgot to put timing in our spiritual meeting.
So maybe someone can say, Luke, do you know when this is scheduled? What time you have thought about it ending?
Yeah, so we're thinking about an hour from when our start. We'll have our devotions about 45 minutes in breakout groups, and then we'll come back for a closing prayer and then kind of open it up for social time.
Hey, Ken, could you tell them that the text is in the chat that we're going to use in the breakout, therefore they can access it?
When we get there. I'll do that when we get there, sir.
Okay.
All right. So friends, readers, we have a pre-prepared devotion. So readers, please be on your ready. And New York, if y'all ready, let's go. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to do this?
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So can we please have our first reader? Let's have some real devotions.
Okay. Good evening, friends. In all the countries of the world, the longing for universe taking possession of the consciousness of man, there is not a soul who does not yearn for concord and peace. A most wonderful state of receptivity is being realized. This is through the consummate wisdom of God, so that capacity may be created, the standard of the oneness of the world of humanity be upraised, and the fundamental of universal peace and the divine principles be promoted in the East and the West.
O thou kind Lord, this gathering is turning to thee. These hearts are radiant with thy love. These minds and spirits are exhilarated by the message of thy glad tidings. O God, let this American democracy become glorious in spiritual degrees, even as it has aspired to material degrees, and render this just government victorious. Confirm this revered nation to upraise the standard of the oneness of humanity, to promulgate the most great peace, to become thereby most glorious and praiseworthy among all the nations of the world. O God, this American nation is worthy of thy favors and is deserving of thy mercy. Make it precious and near to thee through thy bounty and bestowal. Abdul Baha.
May this American democracy be the first nation to establish the foundation of international agreement. May it be the first nation to proclaim the unity of mankind. May it be the first to unfurl the standard of the most great peace. And again, the American people are indeed worthy of being the first to build the tabernacle of the great peace and proclaim the oneness of mankind. For America has developed powers and capacities greater, more powerful than other nations. The American nation is equipped and empowered to accomplish that which will adorn the page of history, to become the envy of the world, and to be blessed in both the East and the West for the triumph of its people. The American continent gives signs and evidences of every great advancement. Its future is even more promising, for its influence and illumination are far-reaching. It will lead all nations spiritually. Abdul Baha, quoted by Shoghi Effendi in Advent of Divine Justice.
Yet even now, warfare prevails. Envy and hatred have arisen between nations. But because I find the American nation so capable of achievement, and this government the fairest of Western governments, its institutions superior to others, my wish and hope is that the banner of international reconciliation may first be raised on this continent, and the standard of the most great peace be unfurled here. May the American people and their government unite in their efforts in order that this light may dawn from this point and spread to all regions. For this is one of the greatest bestowals of God. In order that America may avail herself of this opportunity, I beg that you strive and pray with heart and soul, devoting all your energies to this end, that the banner of international peace may be upraised here, and that this democracy may be the cause of the cessation of warfare in all other countries.
tread but the path of thy love. And in the dark, some night of despair, my eye turneth expectant and full of hope to the morn of thy boundless favor. At the hour of dawn, my drooping soul is refreshed and strengthened in remembrance of thy beauty and perfection. And in the dark, some night of despair, my eye turneth expectant and full of hope to the morn of thy boundless favor. He who the grace of thy mercy aideth, though he be but a drop, shall become a boundless ocean, shall become a boundless ocean. And in the dark, some night of despair, my eye turneth expectant and full of hope to the morn of thy boundless favor. And full of hope to the morn of thy boundless favor.
If anybody is so moved to offer a prayer, please do so at this time.
Bless thou, O King of Kings, the city of New York. Cause the friends there to be kind to one another. Purify their souls and make their hearts to be free and detached. Illumine the world of righteousness. Exhibit the spirits and bestow celestial power and proclamation upon them. Satisfy heavenly realm, so that the city of Baha may prosper, and New York be favored with the blessings of the Allah Kingdom, that this region may become like the Allah's paradise, and may develop into a vineyard of God, and be transformed into a heavenly orchard and a spiritual rose garden.
Do we continue reading prayer? Can we continue reading prayer?
For a couple of more moments.
Okay. He is God, O our Lord, the most exalted. We entreat thee by the righteousness of thy blood, which was shed upon the dust, to heed our petition, to shield us within the stronghold of thy care and protection, to rain down upon us out of the cloud of thy bounty and loving kindness, to enable us to walk in thy path through thy gracious help and confirmation, to lay fast hold on the cord of thy grace, to demonstrate the truth of thy testimony, to spread abroad thy holy writings, to dispel the wickedness of thine enemies, to become imbued with thy saintly character, and to proclaim the cause of thy best beloved, the Lord of glory. He for whose sake thou didst sacrifice thine own being, and yearn for naught but martyrdom in the path of Islam. Help us, we beseech thee, O our best beloved, the most exalted one. Strengthen us, our loins, make firm our steps, wash away our sins, cancel our evil doings, unloose our tongues to yield praise and thanksgiving unto thee. Adorn our deeds and efforts with the garland of thy acceptance and good pleasure, and grant that our last days may prove as the ones thou hast destined for the sincere among thy servants. Shelter us within the court of thy gracious favor, and cause us to be admitted into the effulgent realm of thy nearness. Make us come together with such of thy chosen ones as nigh unto thee, and destined for us to attain thy presence. Suffer us to be intoxicated with the immortal draught of reunion with thee, and let us gain admission unto the midst of thy holiness, and provide us with the best of what thou hast foreordained for thy heavenly kingdom. O thou who art invoked by all mankind.
Thank you, friends, for those wonderful devotions. And thank you, readers, for helping to create the spiritual space that we're about to enter. We're going to enter our breakout groups now. And within breakout groups, there will be some questions for study and reflection. You will be sent into breakout groups that are random. You may have people in your room that you're more familiar with than others. But it's our hope that at the end of this consultation, for those that you are not as familiar with, you will feel more familiar with them, and you feel like they are just as much as a friend as a person that you're more familiar with. So I believe the breakout groups are being assigned now. Does anybody have any questions about what we're about to do?
Writings in the chat.
Anybody excited about what we're about to do?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? That doesn't sound like excitement. That just sounds like, yeah, let me just answer the question. Are y'all excited about what's about to happen?
You got to start somewhere, Kenneth.
Anybody nervous? Anybody scared?
No, our very presence tells you how excited we are. These
Oh, well, with this Zoom thing, it's hard to tell people are really feeling, because I'm used to being in a room with people.
That's true.
So I can't really tell. But if you say we're excited, then we're excited.
You take my word for it, Ken. We're all excited.
Yeah, we're very excited, Kenneth.
All right, the breakout rooms are ready. Should I send us all away, Kenneth?
Yep.
On the count of three, Luke. So everybody on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
All right, and if you are here, it is not a mistake. You are all, this is also a breakout room, so you are all supposed to be in this spot unless you got a message otherwise. So welcome to this breakout room, and we have Myrna will be our facilitator.
Hi, good evening. This always gives me a hard time. Hi, Luke. Hi, Valerie. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hi, nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Sion, I'm sorry, I'm getting blind. Sean
Yeah.
and Trishana. Who else is here? Sapide. Ah, Rachel. It seems that this is a continuation of our study circle. Oh my goodness. Tommy, hi, Tommy. Hi, Roberto.
Yes,
Dominic.
yes.
And Maria and Haley. Wow. So we were given some quotes to discuss, but something I didn't hear, I'm sorry. How long do we have for this discussion?
45 minutes.
45.
45 minutes.
Okay. So, I don't know many of you. So would you like perhaps to say your name, the neighborhood you are, in the neighborhood you live, and why this is the icebreaker question. Why are you attending tonight's meeting? So I should start. My name is Mirna Velasquez. I live in Jackson Heights, and I am a crazy Baha'i who loves politics. Okay. Who's next? Don't be afraid. Luke.
I see your hand. Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, okay. So we are in New York. We are also interested in politics. But yeah, we're not very interesting at the moment. So.
Okay. I think that you just go ahead, because we have only 45 minutes and I'm pretty sure we have
no problem, Mirna. So my name is Roberto and I live in the Bronx, specifically in the Belmont area. And why am I here tonight? Well, one, we all got the email. Let's just be very clear about that. And two, also one of the facilitators is a good friend of mine, Kenneth Frey.
Good. Next.
Okay, I'll go and then I'll popcorn it. I'll just say somebody's name who hasn't gone yet. But
okay,
I'm
great.
Rachel.
Thanks.
I'm Rachel. I live in Hamilton Heights, which is kind of between Harlem and Washington Heights, or part of Harlem. And the reason I came is probably like many of you, my sleep patterns are disrupted by this week's results and my anxiety around it, though I'm feeling calmer now. and the devotions and discussions always recenter me. It's nice to return to thinking about higher things. So Shirin and Shaheen, you haven't spoken and you're unmuted, so I'm going to popcorn it to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shirin. My husband Shaheen. We live in Midtown West. And as Robert just said, we're here. We're part of the community. We're looking forward to learning from all of you on this important topic.
Yeah, so we're very excited to be here. Thank you for having us. And, honestly, for me, it's each of us as we reflect before this meeting is how exciting it is to see the hand of divine sort of moving all the chess pieces of the unfolding plan of God. And I think it's as difficult as it is, as we see mankind going through these tough times and the ebbs and flows, there's also a beautiful part of witnessing unfolding of the destiny of this incredible world order. So I'm just here to partake of your presence.
Who's next?
Trishana.
You're muted.
Okay, I'm Trishana from Midtown West. It's a very difficult time for everybody, I assume, and I turn to the writings and high prayers frequently, and to stay balanced. And it's a wonderful opportunity. I really appreciate the LSA doing this to bring us all together and mutual support and learning in order to be more effective in how we outreach to the greater community. So thank you. Val and Ben. Oh no, yeah. Haley.
Hi, I'm Haley. I live in Brooklyn, Central Brooklyn, and my video's off because I'm melting from, everything, from a week hard in many ways. And I'm here because I wanted to share in a kind of consultative unity of thought with my community. I feel like it's not that I came to sort of deepen in the writings about it, because I feel like I've been calling on them this whole time, but I think that especially recently in our community when hard things are happening, the consultations always feel like they both advance my understanding and also kind of create a shared language in the community that I hate to miss out on. So.
Sorry, I
forgot. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll just do it. My name is Maria. I'm in Brooklyn as well. And I'm honestly here because I don't know how other people feel. I sleep perfectly fine. I'm not any more stressed out today than I was last week or whatever. But I just want to understand what the Baha'is are feeling and to learn and, maybe get some better ways of saying things to people that express their thoughts of feeling anxious and stressed and things like that. Like I want to make sure that I have the right words and I'm saying it in the right way. So I'm here for learning and curiosity and to be part of the community. And Tommy, next. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Hi.
Tommy, you're not muted, but I can't hear you.
So who's next?
It must be your mic.
Or maybe you forgot to click join with computer audio.
Tommy.
Tommy. Yeah.
Don't 1 second.
If you see the microphone icon at the bottom left, the one that's mute, unmute, you should be able to also click join audio. For connection.
Okay, we'll come back. I've had that problem before with Zoom, so you're not alone. Hopefully it'll come back. Also, sometimes if you go out and come back in, it does help.
So he's not listening? Tommy, are you listening?
He can hear us, he can't speak. Something's wrong with his connection, he said.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, perhaps you can write in the chat so we can read. In the meantime, somebody else would like to go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Thank you,
Hi,
Dominic.
hi, I'm Danique from Brooklyn, specifically Brownsville. I'm here to just really be with my community during this time period that's kind of like, it just, I'm not sure what to exactly think of it. I'm not like stressing like I was the first 2 days. I'm just kind of just taking it as it comes. And it would just be nice to be with the Baha'i community where I feel like the writings have given us a unique perspective. We have guidance on this. So I really want to hear what people have to say. And yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sapide, would you like to go next?
Sure. I'm Sepida. I live in Rego Park, Queens, and I'm here tonight because, similar to what everyone else has already shared, just trying to be in a positive space and trying to learn, like, how do I have conversations with my non-Baha'i friends about how do we go through this challenging time.
Thank you. So who else we are missing?
I think that's it.
Luke, but I don't see Luke.
Did Val and Ben go?
Oh, Valerie. Valerie and Ben. Valerie, you're muted. Valerie, can you hear us?
Oh, we were just talking.
Sorry. No, we didn't hear. Okay. Anyway, okay. So I believe we have some quotes that we have to go through, and based on that, we would like to share our comments. And now being serious, it's not only about the fact that I love politics. It's just that is in my personal experience, I found quite interesting that we Baha'is don't talk too much about politics, given the fact that we have some understanding that we don't get involved in partisan politics. However, there is so much room to talk, and we as Baha'is, perhaps we can contribute with it, by talking or doing in the neighborhoods or people we work with. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm going to go to my emails. So I don't know, did all of you receive the quotes? Did you receive them?
Yes.
By email? Yes. Okay, so perhaps, I believe that those are 4 or 5 quotes. Perhaps any of you would like to read, and we can go through that. We can share after every quote has been read.
I can read the first one.
Thank you so much, Tishana.
The opportunities which the turmoil of the present age presents, with all the sorrows which it evokes, the fears which it excites, the disillusionment which it produces, the perplexities which it creates, the indignation which it arouses, the revolt which it provokes, the grievances it engenders, the spirit of restless search which it awakens, must, in like manner, be exploited for the purpose of spreading far and wide the knowledge of the redemptive power of the faith of Baha'u'llah, and for enlisting fresh recruits in the ever-swelling army of his followers. So precious an opportunity, so rare a conjunction of favorable circumstances may never again recur. Now is the time, the appointed time, for the American believers, the vanguard of the hosts of the most great name, to proclaim through the agencies and channels of a specially designed administrative order their capacity and readiness to rescue a fallen and sore-tried generation that has rebelled against its God and ignored his warnings, and to offer it that complete security which only the strongholds of their faith can provide. Shoghi Effendi, Advent of Divine Justice.
Any of you would like to comment about it?
Hi, can I just check on my audible now?
Who said?
That was
Hi,
Tommy.
Tommy.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's my internet connection. I don't know if you can hear me yet.
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes,
So
sir.
my name is cool. Thanks. My name is Tommy. I live in Harlem, and I was invited here by Diane, so that was really nice of her. I'm here.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you. And thanks, Rachel, for helping me with the tips to get my sound working.
Sure thing. Glad it works.
Yep.
Yes, a sweetheart. Okay, somebody would like to start this conversation about that quote? Rachel, by the way, I put you on the spot.
I'm sorry. Am I reading or starting discussion?
Starting discussion, love.
Oh, sorry. I was distracted by Zoom technical
Would you
stuff.
like us to read it again? Because it was too long.
I mean, I'm going to read it again. I don't want to necessarily impose that on others.
No, I'm asking you if all of you, because the quote is quite long, so perhaps we can break it in pieces, or somebody else would like to comment about it. Any thoughts?
So I'm gonna jump in, Myrna, and I'm gonna read it over again so that we all get, so that we all can, like, I know there's a lot of stuff that's occurring in our backgrounds. So I think us reading it for the second time will allow us to be focused. Is that all right with y'all? Great, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead. You're welcome. The opportunities which the turmoil of the present age presents, with all the sorrows which it evokes, the fear which it excites, the disillusionment which it provides, the perplexities which it creates, the indignation which it arouses, the revolt which it provokes, the grievances it engenders, the spirit of restless search which it awakens, must, in like manner, be exploited for the purpose of spreading far and wide the knowledge of the redemptive power of the faith of Baha'u'llah, and for enlisting fresh recruits in the ever-swelling army of his followers. So precious an opportunity, so rare a conjunction of favorable circumstances may never again recur. Now is the time, the appointed time, for the American believers, the vanguard of the host of the most great name, to proclaim, through the agencies and channels of a specially designed administrative order, their capacity and readiness to rescue a fallen and sore-tried generation that has rebelled against its God and ignored his warnings, and to offer it that may complete security, which only the strongholds of their faiths can provide. Shoghi Effendi, The Advent of Divine Justice, page 48. So I'm gonna just jump in so that we can get this discussion started. So in regards for the text, friends, it's just pretty much, to me, and I'm just gonna keep it in a short format, It's pretty much telling us to get our stuff together. And most importantly, like be adults, especially having and creating capacities of detachment, consultation, and getting ready for what is to come. We've all been talking about it, and I know we've had our, study books, study circles, et cetera, but it's how can we forward ourselves so that others can follow, because we're all reflections of one another at the end of the day. But most importantly, having the writings, being in community, and most importantly, like having respect with one another can really allow us to really go forward to what the Universal House of Justice is telling us to do. And whoever wants to chime in, go right ahead.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. I was also thinking that it's just a reminder that when things are tumultuous and we're kind of knocked off balance, that's when it's easiest to make change. And that's when we most look for our moorings. So despite some of the inherent insecurity of this age, it actually is ripe for spiritual growth, is what this quote says to me.
I think one of the most striking words that Shoghi Effendi uses is that couple of things. One, it says it must be exploited. Not only does he see this as a moment of despair, but a unique opportunity that it will never come again. He sees it as a complete opportunity that should be exploited in our twofold moral purpose, for to really shine the light of the cause in what is profoundly dark on the outside. I mean, we expect it. We know that the prevailing order has to go into this entire process of disintegration. And what is really remarkable, just personally reflecting, is I don't think any of us really thought 2 years ago, as these forces of the bicentennials, 100-year from the passing of Abdul Baha is coming up, the forces of these are so enormous that nobody would have thought, as we read these writings, that we would actually witness these in our own lifetime. An unprevailing thing that has never happened before. So I think the word exploited is really gives a very clear understanding that not only is this not a time of despair, we can certainly have feelings, of course we do, of profound empathy for what is happening to the world at large. But the only solution to that is to give the spiritual CPR to the total collapse and arrest that is happening around us. I think this is really just marvelous the more we read it. And it's that the readiness to rescue and fallen the sore tried. So all the things we've done for the last 25 years by the House of Justice to prepare this basic infrastructure to really be able to absorb these enormous forces that are around us. I think it's really incredibly powerful to exploit it.
I know for me, what I found interesting, it was the line, it says that we need to proclaim through the agencies and channels of a specially designed administrative order. That's what makes us unique from any other religion, is that we have the administrative order. And one of the things that I've found with a lot of the people that I have conversations with, they know, a lot of them are, are stressed, etc. And I think that the reason why is because they don't know what's next. It's not like they don't understand that this world, this foundation is not right. Like even the other day I was talking to someone and they were like, yes, let all of this burn, let this all go. But people don't know what's next. And so I know for me, I need to learn how to better explain in a way that's excitable and joyous about this administrative order, because that's the next thing to come. And people are searching for the what's next. I would be out of my mind if I didn't have the faith. I would be, taking sleeping pills and whatever and drinking whatever, because I wouldn't know what would be to come. But we as Baha'is know that this beautiful way of consultation, of understanding that everyone's voice, mandatory that everyone shares their voice. So we have to, and I personally have to better myself at explaining that, because people want to know what's coming next. So even though we're comforting, even though we're consoling ourselves and everyone else, I feel, and what I would like to become better at is sharing this uniqueness of the faith, which is the administrative order, which is, you know, this true oneness of mankind, because people, that's really what they want. They don't know it, but that's what they want and need. So how do we beautifully explain that to people while they're crying and sad and things? How do we give them that beautiful medicine?
Thank you, Maria. Somebody else?
Yeah, and just to build on that, I think the line that really stuck out for me was the spirit of restless search, and seeing how there's so many of these emotions that, despite he's writing in the 1930s, fit this age, like sorrow, fear, disillusionment, perplexity, people being sore tried, and yet that it engenders search as well. And so being able, and I think, Maria, what you just mentioned, that like people are searching for something different, but they just don't know that there's something better and different out there. And I have, like, in some of the few conversations I've had where you like are able to share a little bit of what else could be even possible. It's like, oh yeah, like we don't have to have this structure that we have now, because one of the best points about today is that it shows so clearly how lamentably defective this current system is, that people are like, really? Like this is the best we can do? And that's not the case.
Yes. Somebody else?
Hi, everybody. This is Val.
Can you please come closer to your microphone, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I'm going to keep struggling with this idea of how we exploit the opportunities. Everybody I know and interact is absolutely not interested in religion or God, and they don't see these things as being a potential solution. So I think what I've been thinking about is things like personal qualities, like the light of a good character surpasseth the light of the sun. And it's so true, you know, especially when we see this behavior at all levels, including the highest levels of very, you know, corrupt behavior. And so the light of a good character, and I think to try to remember that these small acts can be a stepping stone, but in terms of these bigger issues of really exploiting the opportunities, I struggle with that.
Thank you. Well, I personally have two things that I would like to share. Going back to what Luke was saying, this document, the divine, the Advent of the Divine Guidance, was written in December 25th, 1938. And that was more than 70 years ago. And I picked up some keywords where from the quote that I talks about indignation, grievance, among other things. And I am thinking that this is not the first time that we are being called to bring the writings to the attention to the people around us. And the second thing I would like to share is a talk I heard by Mr. Adib Tahersabeh when he came to recall where he gave this talk, but he was saying that the world was going through a lot of crisis, And again, this is not the first time this world are going to wars and number of awful things. So I have been thinking not only about this election, but in previous things that have happened to this country, especially when it comes to immigration, that the hate, the division, and all those awful things have been there for a while. And the writings are there, is the medicine that Maria was talking. But I feel, in my humble opinion, that we Baha'is are not, we don't feel comfortable yet to talk about it, either because we are afraid or we are not educated enough to bring these topics to people. Because yes, I agree with you, Valerie, that people don't want to hear about religion. But there are other ways that we can bring the attention to these issues. I worked for a member of Congress 10 years, and I know what you're talking about. I mean, working in that environment is disgusting, but because people are not there to serve people, they are there to make money, to support the party they represent. And I was like, how we can take the opportunity to enlighten these people. I mean, we have the wisdom, we have the beauty of knowing and having this knowledge. But I think that this is the time that we need to take advantage, to leave our zone of comfort, to start to reach out those people who have the power to change, to take the policymakers, people who can help to make those changes in the society at this moment. Thanks. Somebody else would like to share? Okay, so we are going to our second quote. Unfortunately, I am just using my iPhone, so I don't have the opportunity to have that another screen available. Somebody else would like to read, please?
Do you mind if we break it up because it's 2 paragraphs? Is it okay if we break it up into 2 paragraphs or 2
Sure.
separate readings?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ben wants to read.
Okay. Okay, here it is. Yeah, no, I know. Oh, sorry. Okay, there we go. From these unequivocal statements, we can see that political partnership is divisive and one of the clearest and most unmistakable of activities we are to avoid. Unity and peace cannot be achieved through means in conflict with these ends. We should not, however, confuse these cautions with any attempt to minimize the sincere desire of our many fellow citizens to build a just, free, and peaceful world through a partisan political action. We differ from them on process, on how such a vision can most effectively be realized, nor should these same cautions be viewed either as preventing us from engaging in forms of social action and discourse in harmony with Bahá'í principles, or as a restriction on our legitimate right as citizens to cast our vote on election day for the person we judge to be best qualified for office. A letter written on behalf of Shohi Effendi states that until the public sees in the Baha'i community a pattern in action of something better than it already has, it will not respond to the faith in large numbers. This statement reminds us that the work we are engaged in is no mere set of activities. We are establishing that very pattern, destined to serve in due time as a luminous alternative to the darkness of the present age. Let us continue to tear at the social fabric. Let us do all we can to weave spiritual relationships between the people and to create a truly just and inclusive society. Let us devote the precious time and energies we possess to this sacred task, marching forward in serried lines, confident in the unfailing, all-conquering assistance of Baha'u'llah, King of Glory.
Thank you, Ben.
Serried lines. Somebody correct me, but I think that's when you stand very tightly side by side, walking together. It's a very nice image. You know, just seeing all of these beautiful faces here on Zoom, I feel like we are the serried lines here in this moment.
Val, just a quick follow-up to what you said, which is very true as a common thing that we see. I think there are opportunities that has never been there before, and sometimes we're shy about offering what we have, not trying to directly sort of almost making it too individualized, thinking that people would not like it. I think devotional spaces or places where people can just share some spirit of calmness and devotion may be one of the best bombs, instead of just trying to offer a solution, but perhaps that space of just ability to decant and ability to be able to find a balance, maybe one of the greatest things that we can do as a part and parcel. We're not going to change the system. We're not going to do it overnight, but that may be really an opportunity. And perhaps that's the wisdom of the House of Justice and National Spiritual Assembly asking us to increase our devotional meetings. And perhaps that would be an actionable thing for us to take away from this. It just really offers it. And I have to tell you, at my work, I held a devotional even today of people who are coming. I just came to the office and we just held a few minutes of meditation. I offered a prayer in that sense and didn't need it to be necessarily Baha'i, but I think we can take those opportunities at many different times. So just something to, even though it's not interest necessarily in religion, but they may be interested in that.
Thanks, Shaheen. Somebody else would like to?
Oh, yes. Also, I want to also speak to what Shaheen was saying earlier, to the twofold moral purpose. I really feel that you know, the like Baha'is kind of being the light they want to see in the world, that kind of metaphor, but also working with the community and the community working on them, just like in that spiritual process, and that also kind of like how as we get better as individuals, we can better help better help our communities, and as our communities can seeing our communities grow can better help us, and just kind of like that motion in tandem, just more like through say devotionals or the institute process, or well, I think devotionals can be very accessible to people, and I think that's why we've been called to have so many devotionals. I'm not sure what number the initiative is at, but I remember becoming a Baha'i, and devotions were just a really accessible, safe, but very spiritual point of entry. So yeah.
Thank you, Dominic.
I also like the fact that it says social action and discourse, like we shouldn't remove ourselves from that. And I think, I don't know, but I sometimes feel like we can't, for whatever reason, we shouldn't do it, or if we do it, we kind of do it on the low. But we can definitely be involved, and we can definitely, when we talk about discourse, I mean, this is one of the reasons why Meaningful Conversations has been popping up officially and unofficially everywhere. People want to have deep conversations about issues. And if anyone knows anything about meaningful conversations, everything is spiritually based. That's beautiful. I mean, people want spirituality. They don't think they say that they don't want it, but when you have people coming in, they're reading the Baha'i writings and having talks about race unity and equality of women and men and things like that, they're having a deep and meaningful, beautiful conversation. And many of these people, you know, aren't in any way, shape, or form seeking the faith, but they're understanding a new way of even talking about things. And so I think the more that we can allow ourselves to have discourse and in our social actions kind of infuse the words of the faith that way, that will also help. So we have our devotionals, we have, you know, like, I'm going to go off a little bit, but this makes sense. So I just was listening to a podcast just today about these women. They were talking about the white middle-class suburban women and their votes. And what was very interesting is that these women all I think they were all educated, they were moms, et cetera, et cetera. And they said that it wasn't necessarily the candidate that changed for them. It was their understanding and knowledge that grew, that made them look better at the candidate to choose from. And so, you know, for example, one woman was talking about, she was a very strict conservative, and she was talking all about, you know, like no abortion, no abortion, no abortion. Then she had connections with people that had it. Then she expanded, she learned and became more knowledgeable about things. And then she changed her perspective. So now when she was looking at issues, she was thinking about the right person. So maybe we kind of also think about how we talk to people, and maybe have some very bold conversations about these topics and share with them. It's not even about like, we want you to become a Baha'i. I want to share how I think, my perspective. And they can say, oh, this is great, or it's not, but thanks for sharing my perspective. We have to listen to the crap all the time. We have to listen to everyone else's perspectives. Why not share ours? Sorry, I was going to say a curse word, but I caught myself.
It's all right,
Love
Maria.
that.
It's an authentic free zone, or whatever people want to have their authentic. No, but I just to continue what you mentioned about Maria, I had a conversation with the LSA not too long ago about like really creating capacity of having genuine conversations, and you're like right on the money. It's not like, at the end of the day, listen, we all love for folks to be Baha'is, right? But at the same time, everyone is going to create some capacity of having a like or a quality. Whether they are declaring or not, that's not the issue. The issue is right now creating, one, healthy relationships with people, two, respect, three, boundaries, because there's some stuff that folks are not willing to go there. But as you said, Maria, we gotta go for it because it's a learning lesson. And like just us being here on the Zoom space, I have not met all of you, maybe some of you, right? But with those who I've known, I'm like, hey, y'all, what's up? What's going on? But with everyone else, it's more of a greeting, like, hello, how are you? Because our capacities to really learn with one another takes time over time. It's not an overnight sensation of like, hey, I know you, now I know your life and everything else. No, it's more of like really taking your time and really taking your pace of knowing one another.
Thanks, Roberto. Yeah, actually, I have been interested for a while and have been talking to some of you about this initiative of having at the Baha'i Center or through Zoom now, spaces where we can talk freely about these issues. I mean, these 45 minutes we have to talk about this number of issues is not enough. And I'm pretty sure that many of you feel shy at this moment to share what you are really thinking, because you might be feeling that you will be judged. I'm sorry for being blunt, but I think this is the time for us to open up here and start to see how we can contribute, because we are talking about in this election, for example, gender issues, women issues, which is most that is annoying at this moment with this current administration. Why we don't bring to the table these conversations, how we women, Baha'i, can contribute to that. And perhaps from these conversations we are having at this moment, we can suggest that we should be more bold and take the initiative to talk to the LSA and the friends in our community to talk about this. I think that this is the time to arise and start to educating our peers, our friends, co-workers, you name it. Jane, you would like to?
New people are going to start popping into the room. So just wanted to let people know. I'm going to close the other breakout groups and we're the group they come back to. So just an FYI, sorry to cut people off.
No, you're fine, Luke. You posted, we got 1 more minute, so.
I'll just say I've been quite active in the social justice protests and the Protect the Vote protests, and the people that I go to the protests with are kind of intrigued that I have a faith and that I'll stop, that I will say, this is what democracy looks like, but I won't yell the F Trump stuff. But I don't know, I don't know how to take the conversation the next step, but I'm thinking about it, and the meditation contemplation that Shaheen was talking about is where I'm ending up.
Thank you, Rachel.
Get away or don't. I'm okay with that.
Did you hear her?
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Dominic, would you like to share some thoughts? Diane?
Me? Sorry, me? We're all coming together.
Okay. You're so lovely.
I shared
Okay.
a lot of thoughts in my small group, but you guys
Okay.
missed out. No, just kidding. I look forward to continuing to have conversations with all of the friends.
Yes.
Oh, are we all back?
Yes, we are, Ken.
All right. All right. If you thought, you can either call this out loud or you can put this in the chat. If y'all thought that wasn't enough time, say something. Put it in the chat. Say, that wasn't enough time.
That wasn't enough.
It
45
really-
minutes is
Yes.
not.
It wasn't enough.
I hope folks will know that obviously in a 45-minute conversation that you can't get all the answers. But I hope as we share some remarks, that we will having these same conversations with each other. While we are indeed grateful to the local spiritual assembly for calling us together, I think it's also very important that we take some agency in this work and that we take the time to get together with each other and continue to have these conversations with each other. And if the assembly wishes for us to come together again, then we can do so. But we don't need to wait for the assembly to call us together. We have the agency and the initiative to do that work ourselves.
True.
I think with that, we have a closing prayer before we open it up to more social discussion for those who wish to stay.
O my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, lead them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord. Aholah.
All right, and with that, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you so much to the facilitators for helping us through those conversations, and for the readers and for everyone who is involved in this program. Thank you, Kenneth, for being our host tonight. So if you'd like to leave, you may. If you'd love to stay and chat with the people who are on here, feel free to do so. We'll keep it open for you all.